TZR Podcast, episode something or other.
What's
It's
up?
gotta be like
Ladies and gentlemen.
8?
We need our own
Nine.
introduction.
I think we can. It's like safely number 6.
Okay.
I think it's number 6.
Alright. I don't think
we reached.
I don't know. There's some.
It's a lot.
There are
I
some
haven't
that like
been here
didn't-
since the first one.
You've been here like sporadically.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get to the first one and then none, and then now you're back.
Because I'm married now.
Oh,
I have
man.
time again.
Real life. So we're
It's
here
so
with.
funny you say that because I always thought it was the other way around.
True life, I'm a married video gamer. It's gonna be premiering on MTV shortly.
It's
Oh,
true.
that's right.
Or
You know,
Super
honestly,
Sweet
have you
16.
been
MTV's still a channel.
Okay. Yeah, they have a fucking second channel now. But did you hear? So they have like a lot of TV series now and like shows, like real shows that have to do with video gamers and rinse and repeat all their normal formulas. Like there's like The Bachelor, but it's like video game-esque, like geeky.
The only one I've seen of that is like.
E has their own
King
thing
of the,
too.
King of the Geeks or whatever.
Yeah.
That is the most contrived,
Yeah, no,
lame
absolutely.
show I've ever seen.
And
it's
it's
like
Just watch the
like-
commercials.
that is
It's
like
like-
that is like a boardroom of business people sitting around being like, "What are nerds?"
Right. Let's break this down.
Napoleon Dynamite was a hit, but why?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
was-
for everyone.
That was a. They did a marathon of that, and I did watch a lot of episodes of that, and it's pretty insulting to be a part. It would.
One,
it
I'm
would
judging
be,
you incredibly hard because you watched it. Actually.
Well, to me it feels the same as when I like if the Jersey Shore is on and I'm like,
Right.
God, I'm from New Jersey and I'm Italian and this is not a representation of who I am at all, and everybody thinks that I'm like this. And
I thought there was
thank you.
actual coffee. In here.
And
No.
it would be like if they did like King of the like. Let's see, who can I insult? Because I am one of them. King of the Germans, and it's like all just German. That's not funny. Like King of the Asian people, and it was just all
It got
Asian.
funny.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's a really good
that
comparison
racist?
because it really is just like
We're just
thanks.
awesome.
It's like, wow, this is really stereotypical bullshit. Like, this is not cool.
How does this work? Oh, it's fucking
that's
powdered
sugar.
coffee.
No, this is sugar.
Oh.
No. I don't
I've
think
never
so.
seen.
Sugar.
I've never seen
Take one,
Truvia.
too.
Justin Chow doesn't know that sugar comes in packets now.
Shut up!
Oh, it's like
God.
No, see, my
I make my own sugar.
my
True
wonder-
life, we
Import
make our own
sugar
sugar.
cane.
Oh
my
my
wonderful
God.
girlfriend is very in tune with like healthy stuff, and I don't know any better. So apparently, this is like good for you or something.
Isn't trivia the shit that'll kill you, though?
Yeah, I was about to say, does this
we're gonna
give
we're
you
gonna
cancer?
bleep, we're gonna
Like,
bleep out
I-
that brand name.
It's nutritionally sound.
Oh, it's
Sponsor.
a calories-free sweetener. This shit'll give you cancer like
Delicious
crazy.
Truvia.
I don't know.
Anti-sponsor.
I only put
This podcast is sponsored by
I put cane sugar
non-cancer
in my
filled coffee.
I put cane sugar
a
in
good
my
sponsor.
coffee. We're pouring hot coffee over a laptop right now.
Holy shit!
Wow. YOLO.
Let's do it over the microphone.
Not over the microphone.
Can I just tell you of an
Why would you put
experience-
it further under?
I don't. I was trying to push it away from me.
Just take it away real quick.
No, do not do that. That is
Ready,
not a
ready,
wise idea. No. We're
Okay,
not
alright,
doing
alright,
that.
we're good. Alright, we're good.
On list of things
my
that
God.
will fuck up my apartment and get my girlfriend really mad at me.
Do you
Oh
have
yeah, this is all stevia, dude. Stevia is. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Can I?
Is there like do you have half an hour or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come.
Wait, why wouldn't you?
Come yonder. You guys vamp first.
Nah,
Who
you know,
left?
So, side note, you said YOLO, which reminded me of a funny story about my mom, and who, when she recently, all right, first off, okay, okay,
I want to hear the story.
all right, back up for a second, not YOLO to my mom, but YOLO from my
YOLO.
Anyway, so the idea, what happened was, my mom just got a smartphone, her first smartphone,
Oh,
and
that's
she's starting to realize what, like, an amazing piece of technology, one, the smartphone is, and two, what texting is, which is funny. But
exciting.
the,
what texting is?
well, she does
Your
now.
goal is to pour everything over the
It's
laptop.
right between.
It's just so
Shut up.
Justin Chow is now pouring milk over the laptop.
What's up?
What?
Do you want a spoon?
No.
This is to mix it. not
Tell
to
us the
break.
story about your mom.
I'm good, thanks. Shut up. Anyway, so my mom just got into texting, right? And so my sister, who texts like a usual, like, I don't know, teenage girl.
Right.
She's been like
She is a
texting-
teenage girl too.
Yeah, she is.
She's a level 9 texter.
Yeah. Well, regardless, so she's been texting like a lot of these like LOL, LMAO, whatever. And one of them came up as like YOLO, and my mom learned what YOLO meant, which was like you only live once, right?
Yeah.
So my mom, being new to texting, she was like, this was like maybe like a year ago when I got my bike, but she was like, so Justin, I heard you got a bike in the city. I was like, yeah, it was only $100. She's like, did you get a helmet? Because you're gonna die if you get hit by a taxi.
Be safe, YOLO.
Yeah. You took away the punchline from me, you asshole.
You revealed it too easily. That was so good, though.
Let me tell you the punchline and then the story.
Okay, sorry. I didn't.
And she texts back, you should wear a helmet, YOLO. But now it's ruined.
That's an awesome mom text.
You know,
though.
I
like
had to
that.
explain to my mom what
Drink your trivia.
that's what she said means.
That's great.
Which
Why
is
would you be having that conversation with your mom?
because she watches the Office. She watches The Office, and Michael Scott says that all the time.
Oh yeah, actually, this is
And
the
she's
entire
like,
episode.
I don't get it. And
What's
I'm
The
like,
Office?
this is kind of hard to explain. Like, that'd be a little weird.
Office?
Joking.
Well, it is sexual
I
encounter.
remember.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I have a quick, adorable old person story. When we were taking photos at the wedding, we had me and my grandparents and my parents all hanging out, like, getting our pictures taken. And my grandpa said, I sure hope they have enough film in these cameras. And I was like, oh, you're so cute!
That is so fantastic.
Because it was digital. I get it.
Also,
YOLO!
Side note, I looked through like pretty much all of those wedding pictures, and like I did not realize that me and Allie horrendously photobombed one of your really cute pictures.
Oh, the one where you guys,
So,
where quote, Allie was like, I'm sorry that we were making out in the back of one of
yeah,
the
so
photos.
there's this really elegant, beautiful picture of Mike and Joanna dancing like in the middle of this dance floor with their whole family around, and in the back right hand corner is like a very clear shot of me and Allie just like tongue bombing behind them.
I've never heard of such a tongue bombing.
What I love is
Is that
that
what the kids are doing?
90% of the pictures that they appear in is the back of Allie's head and Justin looking like, you're the greatest girl in the world.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
staring at her
Yeah.
in the back of her head.
Stars
and
in
then
his
there is
eyes.
one of her face which she said she didn't love too much.
No, she looks really good in that one.
It'd be hilarious if you posted those on Facebook and then most people commented on the couple behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, I don't know, there were a lot of like
Can we go
weird
back to-
photo bombs.
Tongue bombing real quick? Because now I think oral sex, but then I think making out is really oral
Yeah.
sex.
Tongue
But
bomb.
now,
It's like you're kissing normally, but then they drop a nuclear
Bam!
tongue bomb on the kiss.
Yeah. See, that just reminds me of,
next time I make it with a female, human, I'm gonna be like, yo lady, you want a tongue bomb?
what is that? Tongue punching the dirt star?
Oh god. In the
Hashtag
book of
apocalypse.
horrendous like sexual
Can we write that down,
catchphrases.
please? I'm gonna write that.
Go ahead. Get the notepad.
Oh,
out.
like the new episode of Girls. Did anybody see the big internet
You are
thing?
such in a fucking
No!
married
I didn't watch it.
relationship
I
right
didn't
now.
watch it. I didn't watch it. It was all over the internet because the first scene of the new episode of Girls, the new season, is a chick leaning over the kitchen counter, and her boyfriend has his head like up her asshole, just
Oh.
like in it. He's literally going in her
my God.
butt, and she's just like super into it. And it's like 8 seconds long of just that, and then it cuts to something completely
Oh,
different.
Girls into
shows
that?
you don't want to watch with your family.
Like no, that was all over the internet for a while. It
You
was
old
like
sailor, you.
like everybody was like, wow, that was like strangely intimate and it really touched me. And then Jezebel was like, this is fucking bullshit that they had this on the internet.
Oh my God.
Friggin' terrible.
That's so funny.
It was
That's
very,
not what I do with
it was
girls.
So,
Anyways.
Girls sounds like a filthy show. I don't.
I will be
yeah.
honest to you, I do not. I mean, okay, Girls was like okay, maybe in the first season, but then after a while, you just see the main character naked all the time.
Oh,
and
but
I really don't like that.
is that the fat girl who wrote the she wrote her biography
wrote-
about how she raped her like younger sister all the time and thinks
Jesus
it's
Christ!
normal?
Yo, what are we talking about?
She had a section of her biography. It's like the fat
Didn't she also
tatted up
rape
girl.
girls?
Those
I
are
think
the
so.
things
Yeah.
where the
She was like, yeah. So me and my younger sister, I used to like stick my entire arm up her vagina sometimes, and like
The
she
hell?
wouldn't really want it.
These
but,
are
you
things
know.
where the publisher would say, maybe we don't need this
No,
chapter.
but she's been arguing on like late night shows and stuff that it's like super normal for young kids to do that, and it's not that bad. And then there are people that are like, no, you're a fucking pedophile. Like,
Okay,
this is not
I'm
cool.
going to go into the camp of that sounds kind of weird.
Yeah,
Just
that's
throwing that out there.
like,
I'm in that
not
boat, too.
cool. But that kind of threw me off of the whole. But the whole like the butt motorboating thing was just really funny.
Yeah.
That people got so upset about it.
Going back to the butt mode. Butt voting.
There should be. Why is there not a term for that?
Try to mention that if you guys hear
Is it
little,
butter boating?
if anyone hears little bells in the background, you're not crazy. There's a cat running around.
It's Isabel. running around
Did she ever leave the
doing
apartment?
cat things.
We try to catch
Did
it.
she ever leave the apartment?
Yeah, not on purpose. Outside
No,
cat?
she wouldn't dare. No, I'm just kidding. Like we'll open the balcony sometimes and she'll like walk out, but like not really.
Day 357.
That cat gets so much like contentment out of life, just literally eating and sleeping constantly. And like it just
mean,
wants
I would
like
probably
it
get
wants its
a
like
lot
30 seconds of affection when we come home from work. It'll
It's
just
like-
be like, "Hey, we're friends. Rub, rub, rub. Pet me. Okay, bye." And then she just it leaves for the rest of the night. We're just like, "All right." And that is why I love
It's also
cats.
Justin's sex life.
No. Aw. No, but honestly, that's why cats are awesome. Like I
Will
couldn't
not
deal with
refute.
having like fucking walking dogs and stuff. Like I mean, dogs are awesome, but like cats are just so easy because they just chill. They do their thing.
They're like, hey, pay attention to me. All right, you have a pet. You now acknowledge that you have a pet. I'm leaving. Goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Unless you're
yeah,
playing
exactly.
video games on your computer, in
Oh
which
my
case
God.
I'll
Dude,
get all
it
over
works
your
on the
hands.
keyboard constantly. And
It's
I'm
not like a stereo. It's not like just one of those things people say.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
There's like a number of times where I'll come home from work and be like, okay, let me just like sit down and edit this paper or whatever, and I'll like have a YouTube video up and like I'll pay attention to the video for 2 seconds, and somehow in that 2 seconds where I'm not typing, she finds her way to jump directly on the keyboard, and then it's like I spend the next 5 minutes like turning scroll lock and all this random shit that she turned on back off. I'm like,
oh, scroll lock.
Yes, that.
oh no, yeah, this is funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're
He's like playing League of Legends.
We're watching
yeah, we're
a
looking at the
video,
League
yeah.
of Legends cat problems video.
Cats
and it's
attacking the
fantastic.
monitor.
That's
fingers.
I would sit. I would be playing like Halo or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'd sit cross-legged on the floor in front when I had a little TV, and my cats would come up. And they do that thing where they rub their head, but they rub their head against the trigger.
Oh, yeah.
She's just shooting all over the place.
You're gonna kill.
It's
That's
like
awesome.
some of it, and you're just chucking grenades everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
like, and you end up.
This cat's
killing
actually pretty
yourself.
good.
See,
That'd be hilarious.
There was a lot of times where like I would be, so I did like a Dark Souls live stream for like a really long time. There was like, you know, like 10 consecutive days where I was streaming Dark Souls, and like I would be in it, like fighting a boss, like really into it. And like when I'm sitting at my computer, I'll like have like, you know, I'm like leaning back a little bit, I've got my controller, and she'll like jump up under the controller and start climbing on me, and I'm like, I'm fighting a boss, you know, like get out of here. Hashtag
you
cat
get-
problems.
Yeah,
You
cats.
guys get a snake.
Cats are not like.
That's not cool.
They don't
Good job.
mesh well with video games.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But my cats never gave a crap about like what was on the TV at all. Like I've seen cats freak out about stuff on the television. They just were like, "Let me get at that controller and mess you up as much as
Oh yeah.
possible."
Yeah.
Oh definitely.
I'll tell you what, Izzy's got some funny habits sort of like that. Like, there's a couple of occasions during the day where she'll, it's obvious that she's trying to get our attention, you know what I mean? So, like, at the end of the night, she eats at, like, you know, 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever, and we'll be sitting on the couch watching something, and she will literally jump up here and sit in front of the TV, just staring at us. Like, fucking feed me now, please. Like, I'm starving, and I'm like,
I need some food.
I'm like, cat, please move. Like,
I mean, she's meandering around the kitchen now. Like,
Uh-oh.
I feel like
Nope.
I smell coffee.
what's up, cat?
Don't come up here.
Here she is. She's doing
mic's
this.
We never
not
actually
for you.
even introduced ourselves, did we?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Michael, I don't know if your middle name Pottsy. What's your middle name?
Thomas.
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 That's
It's
cool,
a
man.
generic-
Oh,
SBN
okay.
Theo.
Remove the animal. So yes, it is Justin Scerbo, Mike Potts, Alex Schoch, and Justin Chou
Hello.
sitting around a couch
That was
drinking
Alex.
coffee.
We need to get. Like,
Oh
yeah.
no! Did she stop it?
No, it's good. It's still good.
Stepped on the keyboard.
Literally, cat just stepped on the keyboard. These are the things that happen.
We need to get like those air horns.
Watch your scroll lock, man. I bet you got your
We
scroll
can-
lock on.
I'm the only person who hasn't shunned her yet. So she's coming over to
We
me.
need to
Oh,
be.
she's
We
like,
need to be
"Please,
like.
give me attention."
Welcome to the TZR Podcast. And then if we had a camera, I would imagine it would be going in and out and like turning sideways.
Yeah, like doing like 360s, like all over.
Cat!
Is you gotta
Alright,
like
fine,
okay,
just
cool.
stay over
Find
here.
a spot to plant over there.
Sit, yo.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
So we're talking about video games and stuff.
And
But
cats.
All
except
about
not
video
really.
games.
Actually, we're more so talking about cats, and it's awesome.
So we're appealing to like 95% of the internet. We figure we hit the
Yeah,
umbrella
yeah,
audience
right.
first.
I
So
mean-
now that we've got our frivolous audience, let's get to the topic of conversation, which is really helping.
So, Dragon Age Inquisition is
Hey,
the
we've
worst game
all-
I've ever played in my life.
Is it really?
Start. No.
We've all been, except Justin Chow. The rest of us,
The rest of us play video games.
we've been playing.
Whoa! I've been on like an indie binge lately.
No, we're talking
Yeah, that's
about
true.
we've been
That's
playing
true.
Dragon Age Inquisition, like I've been playing a lot of the single player.
I actually don't.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, wait. Is this the game? Is this the Dragon Age game where it kind of looks like Skyrim-ish?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
like,
Skyrim,
that's
but not
exactly
as
what it
good.
is.
Multiplayer, right?
It's exactly what it is. It's pretty much like if Mass Effect took some of the good parts, but not all of them, and mixed
a
it
lot of
with
bad
some of
parts.
the good parts of Skyrim, but not all of them.
It's like Skyrim.
I
all
really
with
like this
water.
game.
No, I'm not hating
all
on
it's
it at all. But
doing
I
to
think
me,
it's
though,
like,
is
I like this
making-
better than Skyrim.
It's making me just
I-
want to play
I would
Skyrim.
go with that too, actually, because I never really got too deep into Skyrim, but I would
Oh
totally
my
go
God.
with
I
it.
lived inside of Skyrim for
I have
like
like
a year.
300 hours clocked into that.
Yeah,
and I
I-
still haven't gotten to like the one.
Quest
I haven't
one.
met
never
the
finished
king
it.
of like
Yeah.
of the whatever the Blue Army or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I all playing this game,
Still
and
met the waterbenders.
I've been told that it has like a really ridiculous learning curve, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh shit, this is the real game. But like for me, the last like 5 or 6 hours that I've been playing it, it's just making me want to go like, God, I just really want to play Skyrim. This is like Skyrim, but not as good. This
Well,
is
it's
just like
multiplayer.
Skyrim,
You,
except
right?
not
you know
as
what
good.
it is? Because the Skyrim
Sort of.
elements to it, and this is probably my biggest like problem with it. Now, to prefix, I really do like the game. It's a lot of fun, and I think I just hit the story part that you're talking about, where it really opens up, and it's like, okay, now I feel an actual sense of purpose in what I'm doing.
Was there water involved?
Ice.
Falling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just
Oh,
do
yeah.
that?
I just
oh,
did that.
yeah.
That's
I just
what
did
I'm
that
told.
too,
They're like,
actually.
they're
I'll
like,
tell you
do
what-
that, and then it's the real game.
That
And
was
I'm
the
like, that's the shit they said about Destiny, and nobody let that fly.
No, but I'll tell you what, like, I didn't care about the characters, the story, or anything that was
because
going
it's
on in
poorly
Dragon Age
written.
up until that happened, and then I was like, I don't know who this fucking huge guy is, but I want to kick his ass now. Like,
I was
for sure.
I was actually the complete opposite. I was like, I'm loving this game,
Oh,
and I'm
really?
afraid to do this one thing because it's like the primary mission was so I didn't want to do it to like end the game or like get too far ahead because
no, but
the
it's
mission was titled weirdly where I thought like something would happen and I wouldn't be able to go back. So I wanted to hold off on that. So I was doing everything else, which is basically a lot of side missions.
Well, yeah, I
and
think
collecting your party.
That's
I
like
think
what
the
they
real
want you to do is like they will just stop you every so often and be like, you need to do more side missions before you progress any further.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like.
I think
I'm
that's
just
kind of cool.
Really enjoying
that
it.
that part I actually like the most.
Does this game
because
do like
I-
side missions where it's like just randomly generated over and over again?
It's
like,
very much
No,
like
keep doing
Skyrim,
it
where like
randomly
you.
generated.
I mean,
No,
not
it's
randomly,
not
but
like
it's
Skyrim
infinite.
where it,
No,
like,
no, they're not
vomits
infinite.
and-
They're not
yeah,
infinite
okay.
either, but the areas are ridiculously huge, and I think
Well,
that
the one area is
that's
definitely
sort of why I like to like why I liked progressing the story, because the first area you get to is the hinterlands, right?
Yeah.
And like I definitely spent a very high number of hours in the
It's kind of an
hinterlands.
overwhelming map
And I think the
to be dropped into right away.
Yeah,
I
and
liked it, but
That's
it was
that's
like,
what
it's
the
totally
learning
easy.
curve that I'm
Because
talking about. They're just
Wait,
like
is
It's
that
like
point-
Final Fantasy. I'm only referencing because I've never played this game. I've only seen
No,
like
it's
just
cool.
it's basically just an open world.
Is it-
like
when Final Fantasy 13 turned into from corridors to open plains where you can't survive.
I don't know that's when I
It,
stopped.
it
so
basically
I
know.
don't know.
I stopped
well,
too.
what
Well-
happens is it like, and this is my I've only played it for like 5 hours, so I'm like literally living this right now.
wow,
It-
you already got to that story part? Damn.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
That's what people tell me when you.
Oh.
I just know vaguely like, hey, there's this thing where like snow, and that's where the game changes.
Yeah.
But like, basically what happens is you play like this end game scenario at the beginning. They don't explain anything about what's going on at all, and you beat this thing, and then they're like, all right, you're the chosen one. There's some factions or some shit. We're really not going to go into any detail about that. You should go do this thing. No, we're not going to explain to you what it is.
and
Just
see,
go outside and quest.
That is exactly why everyone gets trapped in the hinterlands, because once you get there, you still have no actual
Idea what's
conception of
going on.
how missions start or
It
what
doesn't
connections,
teach you
whatever.
how to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just like you can do this.
But
you
it's,
can buy shit now. You
but
can
like
craft things.
when you're
you can
in
modify things.
when you're in
blah,
the
blah, blah,
hinterlands
blah, blah,
and you
blah.
start like talking to people and getting quests and completing them, it starts to feel like Skyrim. So it's like, okay, all I do is talk to someone. It gives me a marker on my map, and I just go there, do something, and then it's done. And you get into a rhythm with that, and that's cool. But it's like that is such a secondary part to what you actually should be doing, and you have to forcibly break yourself from that area. You have to tell yourself, like, okay, I need to leave. And the joke is there's no exit to the hinterlands. You're just in there. You actually have to go into your menu, then go into the world map, and then you have to fast travel out back to your
Oh my
base,
God.
which they never even tell you that you can
no.
fast travel.
They
And
do tell you that.
do they tell you
Yeah.
that?
They,
Then
like,
I was
mention it in, like,
definitely
a
not paying
pop-up.
attention.
A lot of things are mentioned in pop-ups.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I had a problem with the hinterlands and why I'm more into the idea of that was Izzy's food drop. The reason why I'm more into doing the story stuff is because the hinterland stuff to me feels like filler. Like it feels like it's just like not artificially, but it's just stuffing kind of meaningless quests together to give you something to do.
To me, it felt like it wasn't just meaningless, it was exploring. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
you're not dropped in a
yes.
fully unlocked map and you can see every quest. It's like, you get dropped in, you see a lot of the quests just kind of marked on your map.
Yeah.
But it's all black.
But it's all black,
And
so
you
it's
have
just
to go-
wandering
It's like,
around.
it's like fog of war.
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
So then
thing.
you, but then you don't just find those quests. You'll find other people in trouble. You'll find caves you have to go into. You'll
Yeah.
find chests you have to unlock.
And eventually, like the time when I left the Hinterlands was,
Yeah.
you eventually get to a point where you complete all those quests in that one like major like area,
Yeah.
and you have to explore like beyond what your normal like area is to find new quests. But like there are certain things that stop you from going anywhere.
Right.
Like the little rifts you have to close.
Yeah.
There's one small rift that's like. The enemies that it spawns are way too
Yeah,
ridiculous for
right.
you unless you're
They
level like
one-shot you.
15 or something.
Right.
Yeah, and you just get one shot. And so I was like, well, this sucks because I feel like I want to complete this quest, but I'm literally physically incapable of
Right.
doing it. Or I tried to go to a location and like, have you guys encountered dragons yet?
No.
Yeah.
So like,
There's that one zone that you're like, oh, I can kill dragons. You're
Oh, the
like,
little
yeah,
ones,
right.
right?
no. There's big major dragons from, and again, I'm not too far either. But one of my friends told me that there's 6 major dragons in the game, and like each of them are one of them's in the hinterlands, one of them's in another location, whatever, and you basically have to be like super high level to fight these things. And it's I don't know if it's a major part of the story, but those are like end game like bosses that you want to fight, right? But yeah, so like
Kind of like the weapons in Final Fantasy.
exactly. But getting back to like story progression and stuff, like the Hinterlands is cool and there's a lot to do there, but once you progress the story, you realize almost immediately that the Hinterlands is one of like, no exaggeration, like 5 to 10 areas that are all that size.
No, they're not as
They're
big.
not. They're maybe.
And there's not as many quests there either.
They are maybe 2/3 the size of what the Hinterlands is, and has like the same like density of content that would be in 2/3 of what the Hinterlands is. It's big. There's
They're
huge
big, but
areas in there.
they're not like I don't know.
My-
They're more
you-
direct
my
quests.
biggest
You're there
issue-
for one reason. Really.
My biggest issue is that they don't seem to give a crap about like explaining what's going on at all. So already you're like not super into it, and then you hit that wall of like you don't know how to do anything, and we're not going to tell you how to do anything.
No, you have to learn by yourself. You
And
have to like go out
that
and
it's like I feel a lot like when I started playing Destiny, where I was just like super overwhelmed, and I'm like I don't understand how anything works. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing ever, and like I feel like I get this feeling when I start any new game, so I'm telling myself as I'm playing, I'm like, you're just being a bitch. Like, keep playing. You feel this way every single time. You don't want to learn a new system. It'll be fine. In like 4 days, you'll be so attached to this, and you'll know how to do everything.
Funny that you have to commit to
Let me,
that.
let me
No,
ask, like,
I mean,
what
that's
was
the thing.
Sometimes it's like really overwhelming,
well,
though,
what,
where it's
okay,
just like
what was
so much.
But what was overwhelming? Like,
There was just so
Dragon Age?
much to do.
I know.
Like-
I'm overwhelmed with like. Just to throw one thing out there, the crafting system.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue how the crafting system works. Everyone that I've talked to says that that's
you have
how
a piece,
you get good
you
items.
have a piece of paper, which is the upgrade.
When
then
you
you-
get the piece of paper, how do I get the piece of paper?
You
Do I
find-
buy them
they're
from you?
called
Do I
upgrades.
find
I
them?
had this explained
you
to
just
me.
they're items.
It's not as bad as we think it is, but the game doesn't tell you this. So they had to tell me how to do
you have a
this.
blueprint that you find. Some people sell them. You get them randomly. You bring it to the crafting station.
Yeah.
And then you craft the upgrade, which can be a hilt, which can be a like
So,
a
okay,
blade.
so that's another thing. So there's weapons, and then there's armor, and then there's upgrades. But the upgrades that I have stuff for, I can't equip to my normal armor because they're not associated with the class that I am or
No,
something.
no,
and I'm
you
just
can.
like, what is even happening right now? Like,
there are specific armor sets. There's like one piece of armor that only like a human can wear. But mainly you can put them in any kind of
Did you
armor.
play like Diablo or anything like that?
I have a level
Yeah.
System.
52 wizard in Diablo 3.
Okay, so you know how like shit in Diablo has the spots that you can equip jewels to that
Yeah.
power
Totally.
up whatever?
Totally.
Imbuing.
Same thing. Each thing has a slot. They're
Well,
just called
no,
different
that's
things.
runes.
Not really.
And I've fucked with
No, but
runes
there's
before.
same thing.
there's also like upgrade slots. It'll tell you like what it can
It'd be like
have.
the
like-
legs
Like
for
I have
right
I
now
have
or
a
whatever.
staff and I got a blueprint for a staff grip. So I built that and then you literally slide it onto the staff and it makes your staff better.
And you can see it too.
And then it
Really?
changes the
Yeah,
way that
that's
your
cool.
weapon
That
looks.
is pretty cool.
And then you can, if you want to get rid of that weapon, you can take this thing off and put it on the next staff that you get.
right.
I
They're
see.
always
So
interchangeable.
it's like
not
it's like an accessory.
That's
This,
awesome.
I had to
Yeah.
have somebody who figured this out by Googling it show me how to do this.
Well,
that's my
that's
problem.
the thing. Like,
Let it be noted, I figured
easily,
this out on my own.
I'm, oh, so cool. I'm easily like 10 plus hours into that game, and I had no idea that this was even a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just look through my inventory, and I'm like, oh, this thing is better than this, whatever, and I'll just throw it on.
The
you know?
part where I had the most ill feelings toward it was right when you get to like your main base area for the first time, and they're like, you should go talk to everybody. And then there's like 1,000 things on the map, and you go and talk to everybody, and they're like, you can buy stuff, but not right now. You should come back later. And you like look at the stuff, and you're like, God, I can't afford any of this. And then you go talk to the crafting guy, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how any of this works. There's like 16 different things that you can do.
Yeah.
I don't even understand my own menu right now because I haven't done anything with it.
I'll give you one more thing that turned me off, and this is where my inner douchebag is going to come out, and I apologize for that. And this is something that permeates other games. So when you first get to that like town or whatever, right? Like that's essentially, if you're going to liken it to Mass Effect, that's like you getting on the Normandy.
Sure.
And you can talk to your party members and whatever.
Right.
But it's like, so, like, gay people are great. I got a lot, like, whatever. But it's like, when I get to the town, like, 90% of the people I'm talking to are dudes, and I try to be nice to everybody, but all of my nice voice options are flirting with the guys. And I'm like, I don't want my guy to be
But
gay.
there's no,
like, I'm just
there's
like,
no nice options in this game. There's like 3 like regular
No,
ones,
it's
and then there's one that's a heart option.
No,
You
no,
don't
no,
choose
top,
that.
no.
top right is totally Paragon, and bottom right is totally
and that's exactly
You
what I do. And every
right.
time I try to do the nice option, but like it doesn't associate with what the speech bubble is at all. Like one guy will say like, "Oh man, we're having a hard battle, huh?" And like the top right thing will be like,
I'll give
yeah,
you something
like
hard.
it'll be like, "Yeah, hard battle." And like when you click it, he's just like, "Oh, but it's okay for you, you big strong man," or something. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like that is not at all what I'm trying to say. Like. So that's my main thing, and the only girl that's in your party is totally like gross looking. And then I found out
Cassandra?
What? No,
And then,
I like her.
I like the girl who's literally wearing Tally's clothes that they
Liliana,
medievalized.
Liliana, right?
Yeah.
But I found out you can't sleep with her. So now I'm like the one person that I wanted to sleep with, I can't even do this.
You can sleep with people in this game?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Mass Effect.
it's Mass
Effect with
Yeah.
dragons and swords.
Yeah.
Played Mass Effect.
But it...
Wow,
What?
That's really embarrassing.
Alright, here's what you do. You don't play Mass Effect 1 because it's not worth your time. Then you play Mass Effect 2,
Come
then
on,
you
you
take
think.
Mass Effect 3 and you hurl it across the room. And then
Actually,
you play Mass Effect 2
like
again.
honestly, you should just play Mass Effect 2. Just
Yeah,
do it.
you
Like
really-
you really enjoy that.
I liked
game.
1 and 2,
From
and now I'm playing 3.
I think
Academic
this way,
point of view,
if
I
they
don't-
released Mass
Yeah, there you go.
Effect 1, like an HD remake of Mass Effect 1 with like the control scheme of Mass Effect 2, you would never see me again.
Yeah.
Ever. Because I love everything about Mass Effect 1 except how unbelievably clunky it is.
I don't even remember, to be honest. That was
It is.
many,
it
many
controls,
I'll tell you what,
it
they-
controls like a big pile of ass.
See,
Like,
the reason why Mass Effect 1 was good, or the good things about Mass Effect 1, were the same reasons why it was bad. So it was like, it was bad because at the very beginning you have to run around the Citadel for fucking 2 hours just talking to random people, which in practice is super lame and super boring and takes forever. However, that's when you like learn about the world and all the
Everything.
races, and you feel like this world and how people interact with each other, and it's like, wow, like this created an awesome
There's different ways
setting
of getting
for me,
that
you
off
know?
on the user without having to
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
scroll them
absolutely.
through dialogue
like,
screens
it's
all
weird
day.
because like when I first played it, I hated that, and then I played Mass Effect 2 like 15 times through, like ridiculous, and I'm so into like the lore of Mass Effect. And I was like, man, I should really give Mass Effect 1 like more of a chance. And I went back and was like, I'm just gonna do everything because I want to learn everything. And I loved that stuff.
Yeah.
When I spent like 5 hours walking around the Citadel just talking to people.
And it does such a
And
good job
plus
of
the
like,
Really not that kind of
well,
player
the
at all.
fighting is so
Really?
bad in that
Yeah.
game
What's-
that
what's-
you almost don't want to fight.
what's
Yeah,
your priority when you play a game like that? Like, what?
I'll explore and pick up everything, and I'll talk to like the main people I run into. I'll kind of go through all the dialogues, like in Dragon Age. There's always those like explain more options.
Actually, that,
So I go through those, and they actually open up more dialogue. Like it's cool. It's not
Yeah.
just strictly informational.
see, part of that,
BioWare's
like,
really
that's
good at
almost
that.
one of the reasons why
weird.
Dragon Age isn't resonating with me. Because in almost every other RPG, I'm the type of person where, like, if I'm playing a Final Fantasy or something and I get to a new town for the first time, I'm talking to every single person
Yes.
in that town to find out what's going on. But in Dragon Age, I could give two shits about talking to anybody.
Because they don't explain what's going on, so you don't
exactly,
care.
and granted, it's probably because I don't know anything about the world because I haven't played any of the
Yeah.
earlier Dragon Age
Okay,
games.
so maybe that's why.
I didn't play
Yeah.
those
Because this is
Dragon
I'm
Ages.
coming. So I played Dragon Age 1. I mean, relatively recent, like 5 years ago. Like that's
That's not relatively.
no, but
recent.
that's more recently than it came
But
out.
not like
Quarter of
Mass
my
Effect
life.
1.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Quarter of my
then,
life.
and then I'm in the process of playing Dragon Age 2. I started because I wanted to start before 3.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of already invested in this world.
yeah.
And like, so I know this, like, the whole thing is the struggle between mages and Templars, and just kind of being in this whole world is really interesting.
Okay.
And now seeing this as kind of the sequel to that storyline.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
so
see,
what's
that's
the
the problem, is I didn't play 2.
What's the
No.
difference
Well,
between? Okay, so
it's a perpetual world. One
I'm
through
gonna
three.
say, I don't know, because like when I was playing Bravely Default,
Yeah.
exactly what you were talking about. I was reading everything. I was playing out every single scenario and making sure that I got every little bit of content out of that game. Every single bit of content. Like, I would even go back and fight a boss again just to hear what he actually said because I missed something, which is kind of ridiculous.
But would you pick up every book and read every line?
Well, actually, so it was funny.
That's a no.
That is a no. You open the book
no.
to get the experience, and then you immediately
Sidebar, that's why
Book,
Mass
the
Effect was
book.
awesome, because the codex read itself to you.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Also,
I
in
still
Bravely,
never read
in
those.
Bravely Default, they actually had a book associated. Like, you can go into this, like, whatever, like, encyclopedia in Bravely Default, and as you finish the D book,
does it, like, fill
right?
itself in as you play it?
Ring a Bell book, right?
Right.
And and it does, and it tells you about the characters and stuff, and then every single time you go through another world, spoiler alert, right? It'll give you, like, an addition or a different change to that character's personality and all that stuff. I was, like, avidly reading through all of that,
Right.
but then, like, okay, you guys know I'm a huge Guild War 2 fan, right? I don't know anything about that game. I don't talk to any of the NPCs. I don't follow the lore.
Well,
All these updates come out.
It kind of has the same problems as most like MMOs.
Yeah, maybe you're
Like,
right, but like, so like I'm talking to the people that I play with, and I'm like, we do like a trivia night or something
what's
like that,
this
right?
game
And I'm throwing
about?
out like, I'm throwing out like questions from this like Quizzilla thing or whatever, and they're like answering it like on the spot. I'm like, what the fuck is a Lorinor's past? And it was like, dude, you've been in that map like 80 times. We've done like guild missions there. I'm like.
It's so funny because the problem that you're talking about, like not giving a shit about MMO storyline, is totally a product of it being like of a social problem with that game. Like when I started
I think the
Final
social aspect of that game took it over for me.
Well, that's
why
exactly
I
what
did.
it is. It's like when I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, it was more important for me to progress and make sure I was making progress every time. So I didn't want to watch any of the cutscenes because I was like, well, fuck this, I could be leveling or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just like it
was like-
because of the social pressure to be better and get stronger. I was
Yeah.
just like I didn't care about the story.
But on the second note, like I actually had some of the members like explain to me the entire story, and I'm like, holy shit, this shit is so super deep, and there are like so many nuances to subtle like things, and like
What is it, like based on books or something?
no, not even. It was just from the
Oh,
original
yeah,
Guild
books.
Wars, right, and then
Yeah.
from the expansions, and then from this game, and all these episodes that they're going through, and then now they're coming out with an expansion actually in mid this year sometime. But like I'm like hearing all this, and I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then when I play the updates, I'm like, don't care
Yeah,
about
I
any
know,
of
right?
it. I'll just listen to them tell me about it.
There you go.
I don't know. I can't. It's like
Yeah,
what's the disparity? Like
I'm
on
pretty sure
Bravely
that-
Default, I read everything, but
It-
then in
It's
kinda
all
funny,
about
but-
how interested you are and the type of game.
There's actually like
Yeah.
YouTube channels like when I had my like stint with Final Fantasy 14, and like after a while I was like, you know what, I wonder what is actually happening with this. And there's like people
there's
who
like
make
a death. There's like a rebel. Like okay, I played that too. There's like
Yeah.
a rebel side, and there's like an empire side, and it's very Darth Vader-esque.
yeah,
Like,
but it's
Star
cool though
Wars.
because like what's funny is I actually YouTubed like I searched like Final Fantasy 14 lore, and there are literally
Yeah.
entire YouTube channels dedicated to just people giving the
Yep.
abridged version of what's going on. And
I follow a few of those just for that specific reason.
Oh, do you
I'm
really?
Are you
I
still
don't
playing
have a
Final Fantasy
fucking
14, by the way?
clue. I don't play Final Fantasy. Anything.
Oh, whoa,
Wow,
whoa.
that
Some
was
tactics.
That was a harsh statement.
Tactics is so good.
Pots, have you played the Dragon Age multiplayer yet?
I have not yet. I have not had a chance.
We all need to play.
I know
together.
you.
I told
you-
Alex.
you and
We've been
Callum were
playing,
at one
and
point.
Scerbo we've been playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Callum
so
invited
first-
me to play, and I was like doing something else.
I
Oh,
told
I was
that-
writing the wedding article.
Yeah.
Actually, I was like, I
It's
can't right
really
now.
just like a slimmed down version
That-
of what the game is, and you're running through a dungeon.
That
Yeah.
I'm excited for
It's really
because
good.
like the only thing I liked about Mass Effect 3 was how unbelievably good the multiplayer was.
See, the multiplayer in this one, it's not wave based, but it's like it's cool because you have more of a purpose. But like instead of like so in Mass Effect, the multiplayer is more about like controlling areas, right? In this one, it's more about like coordinating your team. So it's like you're a mage, right? So like if you had a mage character in the multiplayer, like while you would want to be DPS, like doing damage and stuff, you have to more so focus on like buffing your party, like always putting shields on and like always putting barriers on.
I'm
and
more
stuff.
of a glass cannon kind of character though,
Yeah.
so I'm just like do damage, run from things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I hate having to worry about other.
I guess I like the multiplayer, but I think I'd prefer like more of a horde thing where it's
Yeah.
you're more forced to work together. This is you're dropped in this,
Yeah.
and then you're just running through a dungeon.
Well, the boss fights
Yeah.
are actually wicked hard. Like,
No, it's-
I mean,
it's- they're
we've
hard,
failed more
but it's
boss
kinda
fights
just
than
like-
we've
hear them.
It's kind of just like when I used to play City of Heroes. It's like that's a fun game. You can play it team based. You know, one person can buff this guys and heal these guys.
Yeah.
When you fight a boss, it's just a bunch of people standing around shooting a big thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so the bosses, it might be hard,
Yeah.
and it is, but that's not the same as like kind of coordinating your efforts.
But I think its difficulty gets like fixed by by coordinating better. You know what I mean? Like,
it does.
Like it's hard because people aren't, focused on the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee every time that we failed on that stupid boss with the spin, like the fucking spinny sword move, I hate that guy. We would have done 1,000 times better had every time I had my barrier thing come up, I was barriering everybody, and every time that their aggro ran out, I re-aggroed them and stuff like that.
Do you have it on Xbox also?
Yes.
Well, fuck. Why aren't we all playing all the time?
I told Alex that when we met up today, we would find a day this week where we are
We
going
all have
to
it on
play.
If you give me a time like a few days in advance, I can read my article.
Yeah.
Go to TZR.com and read my article about being married and not having time.
It's actually the Zero Review.
It's actually the ZeroReview.com. If you go to the ZeroReview.com, you can read my article about how when you get married, you have to schedule time to play games. No, seriously, if you give me a day,
You guys have off on Monday?
I can make that
No, I
work.
feel like I should play this game.
It's only 4
You don't have off on Monday?
I don't have off on Monday either.
What?
Yeah, I don't have off.
Losers!
Only communists have Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I feel like that's not true.
That's
George,
pretty much the
George
exact
W.
opposite.
Bush and the place of my place of business do not care about black people.
Wow.
Nobody nobody
There it is.
understands the
Damn.
reference. That wasn't that long ago.
No,
I don't understand.
Where it was Robin Williams and Kanye West were hosting something together, and Robin Williams was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this thing or whatever," and Kanye West goes, "George W. Bush does not care about black
Oh my god.
That's better.
Yes. Context. Context is very
Context,
important.
ladies and gentlemen."
Yeah, but I totally am playing that on Xbox One.
It'll be a lot more fun. I
With
mean,
4
it's
players?
fun.
Oh, yeah,
but
for
with
sure.
4 solid people, and not 2 like
That are
douchebags
actually
running away from
communicating.
us.
Well, it
Yeah.
would be us 3 and Callum, so
Yeah.
we could totally
Yeah.
make that happen.
This child wants to get it.
I kind of do, actually.
Is
Because
it-
I
is
want
it
a second
only
game from
$40?
Xbox
And you
One.
can-
The game?
Yeah, I paid $40 for it. Is that
I-
like a thing, or did I just get a deal?
I think that was like the week after
Yeah,
it was
they
out.
had it.
It was on sale for a
Because
little
that's
bit.
why I was like, man, I've heard some really good things.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I
$40.
messaged you. I was like, Amazon, 40
And you know
bucks.
what you can? I don't know whether you guys did it, but something you can do since you haven't played through the first 2 and you haven't started it yet.
The Dragon's Keep
But they
thing?
have this
Oh,
thing
okay.
called the Dragon's Keep. That's like you
It's like a
can
website.
you can go through the storyline just like real quick, like all of the
Oh,
real
they
big
did that
points.
with
Mass
Effect.
Effect, yeah.
And then you choose the points. It actually tells it to you in a very story-esque way. If you like, there's like a narrator.
Can you just tell me the story?
But it's
Templars
mages
hate
versus Templar.
mages, and mages
Yeah.
hate Templars, and they
Um,
come together to form a truce, and some explosion happens, and they
But
all
so you
die.
can actually you can choose it all,
That's the story.
or you can upload your old save files, but you haven't played them, and then you can all feed that into the world.
See,
It's pretty cool.
I feel like there's going to be a point in this game where it's like, now you must choose Templar or Mage. But I am a mage, and my backstory is that the Templars like murdered my entire family and
Okay,
destroyed my
so-
organization. So it's like, I guess I'm picking
See,
mages.
so lame, because like I'm a mage in mine too, but like the only guy who's on your party that's also a mage, like Solus or whatever,
Yeah,
he's
that's
such a douchebag.
Yeah.
And like that's another guy where every time I talk to him, I manage to flirt with him, and I'm like, I do not want to flirt with you. Like,
Sure, but maybe
he
you're
will
just a
only-
flirty person.
he
That's
will-
I just try to be nice.
I
I just
have
want,
ramen, really.
I just want
Fairly-
everyone to be my friend.
I'm fairly certain he will only sleep with female elf characters.
That's
So I think
interesting.
that you're safe.
Good, good.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
What? They program these characters
They
with
have personality.
preferences?
That's. I just read an article
Different from
recently.
Fable.
I don't remember where it was. It was probably on something like IGN or something. But
Fable, everybody
but it was
available.
somebody writing about how frustrating it was because they courted some character the entire game, and you would think that they would like just be with them, and then they just were they fickly decided like, no, I'm not interested in you anymore. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
like, wow, this is really like
real.
Real life.
like.
I didn't have to bear it back
But
in
it-
Final Fantasy 7.
Oh my god, the struggles, man.
But like that's what the computer did
into
to
one arm
them. The computer was just like, I know that you've went through all of my shit to bang me, but I don't really care about you anymore.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, that is
Dude, that is
so
awesome
that's
programming
right.
if they can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, which they already did.
They
so-
programmed the perfect way to break your heart. Like,
I know my
No,
one
honestly,
friend
I
was
was probably
really
leading
leading
you
you
on the
after
whole
that,
game.
actually.
Yeah.
my one friend was
weird?
really upset that whichever girl he liked that he wanted his character to be with is like the only lesbian character in the game, and he was like,
Oh, yeah.
motherfucker,
Dude.
this is bullshit.
that's why I was so mad about Liliana, because she's like super attractive, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. But then one of
That's
my
why you
friends
were
said,
mentioning this one person that was not.
She's literally
good
she's
Yeah,
the one that
that's
is
why. Okay,
wearing
started to
Tally's
make sense.
outfit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm not just making that up.
no,
like,
it,
she is
it
dressed
literally
as
is like she
Tally.
has the hood thing, and she just doesn't have the mask on.
It's Tally's outfit, but like medievalized.
with no mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently it's because you could romance her in the first game, and since you are technically a different character
You're
in
not
this one than
Hawk.
you were in the first one, it's like you can make Liliana cheat on your
Oh shit.
like Dragon Age 1 character.
Yeah.
So the developers were like, oh no, we don't want to make her
Wait,
unfaithful or
is
something.
Hawk-
And I was like, fuck that, man. I want to bang this girl.
Is Hawk Dragon Age 1 or Dragon Age 2?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I
There
know
was that
everybody names him
persistent
Ethan
character.
Hawk.
Yeah.
Like Varric's that persistent character throughout the whole thing. Like he's a dwarf that he's like tells stories, and it's interesting seeing him go through each game because he's known all of the characters that you've been playing. This is interesting to me.
him?
He's the one with
He's in your party.
He's the most notorious one because he has like, oh god.
he names his crossbow.
I'm having a lot of struggles with.
Yeah, I see that.
You have to upgrade his bow or he sucks. By the way, I don't know if he's in your party.
I don't even.
He's
I
in my
kicked
party
him out
now
of my
because I
party
don't have
immediately.
anybody else.
My party
gotta
right now
upgrade his
is
bow or
Blackwall.
he's
Can you not give him other
Dominicus
weapons?
or something?
No, that's his only weapon.
You have to upgrade that weapon because I have a bunch
Yeah.
of other bows that he won't use.
Well, see, instead of getting new weapons, you'll get new upgrades, and that's the only way to get his weapon. better.
Okay, so I knew that
He has
the
a
fact that
crossbow
he had a
beyond that.
named crossbow.
Yeah.
I was like, they're not gonna let me get rid of this,
Yeah, that's his thing. He loves it.
or I could just never use him again.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
He's
my
hilarious.
entire
Throughout that entire
party-
conversation,
my
I changed
entire
bow
party's
and
long
crossbow
range.
to penis, and it was hilarious in my head.
that's awesome.
my entire party is long range right now because I haven't got anybody new. So I have a mage, a crossbow guy, and then I have
You took
what's her
Cassandra
face.
out of your party?
Yeah,
No,
Cassandra's the only one that's not.
She's
So
like-
she runs in and gets murdered every time while we're all standing back. She's
I
like,
find that
shooting.
she's like very necessary.
You know what was, speaking of standing back and shooting at things, something I get impressed a lot by like really little details because I feel like a lot of times they don't have to pay attention to this kind of thing, but
Yeah.
like when they do, it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. So like I was expecting, all right, I'm gonna be a mage, which means my regular attack is gonna be me shooting like bolts of something.
Yeah.
Which means it's gonna be me holding my stick and it's gonna be bolts coming out of the stick, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be moving. The fact that he has like full-on
Like
long
swings.
animation of all the different ways that he's throwing
Yeah.
those things, I was like, oh shit.
When you start like comboing your
Like-
abilities with it, like you'll be paying very close attention to the timing just to make sure you get where he like stamps the bow down and the 3 come out, because that's like a really good like spot for DPS and stuff.
yeah, that's like
You know
I
what my
was just
favorite feature of that
very
game is so
impressed
far?
with that.
My favorite feature of that game is actually not a game feature, but rather an Xbox One feature, where like I have a very bad habit of just like pausing it and then forgetting that I left my system on entirely, so the whole thing will power off.
Yeah.
And then the next time I turn on my Xbox, it's like literally on the pause screen
I
that
know.
I
Oh
paused
yeah,
it on.
that's an Xbox
I think
One
that's my
thing.
favorite Xbox One feature.
That's probably, honestly, that's the only thing that I like about the Xbox One, because that whole
Damn.
architecture is so fucking stupid.
I get so lost.
It
every
irritates
time
me
I'm trying
so
to find
much,
something.
and I took your advice, and I'm doing everything that I can to get used to the double tap the thing
Yeah.
to snap the stuff. Still stupid. It just
Oh, yeah,
doesn't. It's just not intuitive. It doesn't work.
As a
the way I
person that
want
has
to.
never had like a PlayStation system, I'm all about Xbox. Honestly, like the last couple of firmware update, like dashboard updates for Xbox One and for the 360, even I just do not like the Windows 8. Windows 8. I don't like
Yeah.
Windows fucking 8.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty much what it is.
It's
a
Well, they're,
confusing.
thing.
you know, I think they're coming out. Well, they
They're
are
coming
coming
out
out with
with
Windows 10, but they're
What happened to 9?
There's never
they literally
a nine.
skipped it. They
Well-
said, you know, we were working on 9 in like our Windows factory, and
Just put panes of glass
and
on
we were
all
like,
day.
this is really good, but we can do better, so we'll just name it 10. But they're gonna put it on like Xbox One, so I think there's gonna be big changes. 'cause
It's just like
I don't think
that's-
people are reacting too well to it.
it's a smartphone OS on my television that I can't. It's a touchscreen OS.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's all
That's a good
boxes
point.
everywhere. I can't find anything.
No, but you know what?
ever.
I have both. I have
I still like
PlayStation and I have Xbox. And
Yeah.
granted, I tend to be more of an Xbox person.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way about PlayStation. Like I can't find shit there.
No,
it's all
okay.
like here's one line of stuff and here's another
Oh, yeah,
line of
that's-
stuff.
Yeah,
that's-
And I'm just like,
that's weird, but I think
and
just
it
on
never
like
gets updated though either.
it does never get updated, and they were very weird about like customizing it and stuff, which is
Right.
kind of annoying. The Xbox One is cool because you can do like you can make your backgrounds like achievement images and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
I
They
do
just
like
added
that.
recently.
But the PlayStation One, I just like strictly because the home button works the way a home button should work.
You bring it back
Meaning,
to the-
if I'm in game and I hit the home button, it brings me home. If I'm in the home and I hit the home button again, it puts me back in the game. The Xbox One chooses to switch me to fucking random apps. It always, you know what it is? And I realized what it is. I wasn't used to always defaulting on the dashboard. It doesn't matter when you hit it, it will never just put you back in the game. It always just puts you on the dashboard.
Yeah.
You have to manually select what
Go
thing
to
you
the
want to
game.
Originally,
be
it
in.
what did it
I
do?
liked the
Originally on
360 where
360
it
brought up
the
like
little
an
window,
interstitial,
Yes,
right?
yes.
and then
yeah.
it would be like, okay, gone.
Oh, so you would press it again to go back into the game? you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I'm saying. Like
I
in
hit-
PlayStation,
Is that not how it
it's
works
like
on the Xbox One?
no. So like in PlayStation, it's like, okay, I just saw my friend signed online. Let me see what game he's playing. Menu button. Go to friends. Oh, that's what he's playing. Cool. Menu button. Back in the game. And it works perfectly.
But
But
what
instead of Xbox, it's like, oh, my friend just signed on. Menu button. Now I have to manually navigate to friends. Go into friends. Okay, now I'm here.
You can
Oh,
hold
that's what
it-
he's playing.
You can
Menu button.
hold
Oh,
it down
now
and
I'm
it
back
will
on the
take you to
dashboard.
the friend that just signed in.
Yeah.
Anything something goes.
Well, so
you can
teach,
hold it
so
and
teach me
it'll
the
interact.
shorthand because I'm.
Well, it'll say
struggling,
that.
man.
It'll like
get,
pop
get
up.
a connect. That's the shorthand.
It'll pop up and say, my Sting Shock is logged on.
Yeah.
And then it'll flip over and say like, you hold to see details.
And if you
No.
hold it down,
Yeah.
it'll bring you to where you want
But
to
the
go.
cool thing about Xbox, as much as like it has shitty things and good things, any of the shitty things can change. They're really good about listening to the community. They've
Yeah.
changed. Like if you look at it from even when it first started, a lot has changed.
So would you
Remember
just
the
say like?
blade system
I was
on
gonna say make it
360?
the blades on 360.
but if I
and it
want
would
something on
probably be-
PlayStation, it's there forever.
Yeah, well, they just haven't been good about updating
Right.
anything to it, and it's usually because they like try to stick through the guns. Like I
I mean, Windows is a computer company,
Yeah,
so it makes
exactly.
sense
So
that they have the ability to do that.
they're good with
Windows.
OS.
Sony has the ability
Yeah, a
to
little
do
bit.
it too.
Yeah,
That's
sort
kind of their
of.
thing.
Like,
But I mean,
stick
like-
to their guns for technology, like company
But,
in this day and
yeah.
age is not a good.
But like
strategy.
Microsoft literally like became a thing because of their operating systems.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like they kind of know what they're doing.
they're like
and,
strictly software people.
Yeah, it's just I am not a fan of that.
It's funny though, like so I got my Xbox for Christmas, and very shortly before Christmas I got a Wii U, and out of every I now have all three of the major systems. I play the Wii U more than anything.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
I play the
Why
Wii U
is
so
it,
much. It's so good.
Why
Like
is it that I actually enjoy? Like, I feel comfortable with the Wii U. When I'm on Xbox One, I feel like, well, maybe you just talked about it essentially.
Yeah.
But like, I'm on the Wii U console, like the whole like dashboard is just an app. Like,
it's just a 3DS app
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
And-
I really hate it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
I
I,
like it.
I think I play more on Wii U not because the menus are cool or whatever, but just because like the games that I'm playing on are just fun and just like
'cause it's
easy to
Nintendo.
jump in, and
Yeah.
it's like yeah, and it's like
that's actually probably a Nintendo easy to jump in. It's
I
just,
haven't
like,
I haven't
the thing.
played one bad game on my Wii U yet. Like I'm not saying that I've played a bad game on
Because
the
they
other
have
ones,
5 games. in
Yeah.
probably.
but it's like I'm so much more compelled to just like play a couple rounds of Mario Kart than I am to like
See,
like go into Dragon Age and be like, okay, here we go.
For
Like,
me-
now we're settling in for a couple
for
hours.
me with the Wii U, it's all about the controller, and the same with the Wii. The reason I don't have a Wii U is because it doesn't have a controller.
Yeah, the like just flat out the monitor thing, the gamepad is completely fucking
the
stupid.
iPad.
It is easily the most uncomfortable controller I've ever felt in my life.
You like it though, right, Justin?
Yeah, I played Smash on it a few times and I actually kind of like it.
I don't think
Like,
it's.
is that weird?
I don't
I
think
mean,
it's the
I-
most. Like as a person who loves like that, the Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah. The Xbox One controller is
the
great.
Xbox
The
One
more
I like it
controller-
too.
I like it a lot.
But
Like,
I still.
I thought that I
it's-
would hate one, and now I tried to play 360 a while ago and was like, what the fuck is this
I still
thing?
like.
I use my 360 controller for my PC and I love it to
Yes.
death. The Xbox One, my only problem with it is the
shoulder buttons.
bumper ones.
Yeah, I
they're
don't
they're
like
just
them.
really awkwardly shaped. I don't know, but the
Yeah.
sticks, those are the best sticks
Sticks
I've
are
ever
so
felt on a
much
controller
I love
ever.
those sticks.
Oh
yeah,
my
and it's
God.
like I was advocating for the PS4 ones for a while, but like
No, man.
like I
PlayStation,
would
like, no.
PlayStation,
I've had
has,
it-
PlayStation has never in its entire existence known how to do thumbsticks. Ever.
the PS4 one is better
It
than
started-
anything
it
it has
is.
before.
I know, but
and the
they've-
PS4 controller is really nice. I like how that controller feels a lot. But like, I'm definitely giving sticks to Xbox because that they are the fucking grippy things. They get super
Yeah.
dirty, and there's all kinds of weird shit in mine right now. But like,
It
they
just
are
suction cups to your. Like it's just
Yeah.
a really good.
the
and,
grip. It like it
and
makes
I
sure
actually
you're
really.
locked
I
in.
like
you know?
the triggers. It kind of has like a soft
Yeah.
end to it.
They
I
have
don't
like
know,
a
something really satisfying.
like a
about
silicone like gasket on them. So
It's
when
very
you-
similar to
yeah,
like
push it
almost the
down.
GameCube ones. You know what I mean? Like the GameCube ones
No.
clicked when you went all the way
No,
down.
the GameCube ones suck.
No, are you kidding? The GameCube
No,
one was awesome because
No,
you
I'm
could
saying-
depress
I'm
them
saying-
and then
I'm
you
saying
could click them.
in function, in relation
no.
to function.
This?
It's not good for
Chow-
a gun,
Chow
but
just
the fact that
managed
it's two buttons.
Chow
is really
literally
cool.
just pulled a GameCube
It's-
controller
Yeah,
out of
I
thin
carry
air.
it around with me even to work.
Even
that
to
weird?
work.
Back up. Yeah, no,
fact
these
that-
things are like chintzy as fuck.
No, the fact that you can push it down partially and that's one command,
Yeah, and then
push
when
it
you
down
click,
all the
it's
way and
the
it's
whole
another
thing.
command
It's
is
like
awesome.
Super Mario Sunshine was the best
Oh.
example of how they use that. And I think Xbox does the same thing, where it's like you feel how far
Although,
you're pressing
you know,
it.
That is my least favorite controller of all time for shooters.
This?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it
yes,
is
absolutely.
terrible.
No, I
Absolutely.
love.
Or
They
maybe-
never should have
yeah.
put
I-
any shooters on the
I
GameCube.
completely disagree.
That's
I
because
had
it's
a
like it
blast
has
playing
this
Time
huge
Splitters
travel
2.
time in order for you
Oh,
to actually
not to
shoot.
say that there weren't fun games, but just
Yeah.
managing to try to do anything like strafing with the C stick.
Well, it's
Oh,
the C stick. The
God.
C stick is not a real stick.
Well, the,
No.
the triggers
It's
are not
more of a
shooting triggers.
nipple.
That too.
of sorts.
Well, what it is you're meant to.
I've learned a lot,
You're meant
like-
to use that. You're meant to use that like you use the C buttons on the N64. You're supposed to flick it in a direction. You're not supposed to use it as.
Baby, you done with
Yeah.
tongue bombing? Because I'm ready to C-stick you now.
Oh my
You're ready to
god.
flick the C stick.
Flick
my
the
God.
C-stick. Wait, that's really... Alright, we're done.
Flick the stick.
Alright, cool.
That's the
Great.
new name of our podcast.
So,
Flick the C
Oh,
stick.
God.
Yeah. But either way, I really like the Wii U a lot. Mario
I
Kart.
actually-
Mario Kart
yeah.
is like, if I were to say what my game of the year is like right now, easily Mario Kart. It's
So pretty.
I'm still...
It's so good looking. It's so
Okay, okay,
pretty.
okay.
Even
No
more
way
than
game
Smash.
of the year is.
I've played more.
So, like,
I've played
once-
more Mario Kart than I've
Once
played.
they,
I haven't
once
played
they
enough
introduced
games to
getting
shake
like
the pick one.
bikes and hover shits and all these crazy things,
shits.
I almost immediately rejected that being
Yeah,
as a
me
Mario
too.
Kart game. Like
Do
when
you
they
wanna
did
try it?
Double Dash.
Do you have it?
I have it
No.
right here, right now. I have 4 controllers. We can play it right now.
Oh, we should play.
We should
Oh, we-
play it,
after
yeah,
podcast.
absolutely.
You have
After
controllers?
I
yeah.
have.
Wait, no,
I
I
have the
agree
game
with you.
too,
As soon as
like,
there were like
not play online,
motorcycles,
right?
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
totally.
fuck
Yeah.
that.
And the
as soon
online
as-
was
I
so
literally
good.
have it open.
As soon as they
Parasite,
did-
yeah, I have it.
Oh, dude, I've got all the DLC. You can play as Link in mine
It
right
came.
now.
It came with my my Wii. When
Yeah,
I
no,
got
me
it.
too. I got the same Walmart
Yeah.
or whatever, which was honestly a good deal.
It was
As
a
soon
good game.
as
Although I was
Mario
pissed off because
Kart.
after I bought it, like after Smash came out, like 2 weeks later, the Wii U dropped to like $50 in price. And I was
punch him
like,
in the
God damn
face.
you.
The only
This is
reason,
fine.
no,
Oh, am I cutting you off?
the game.
Am I still cutting you off?
in the point
Hey, have you
at
guys
which
ever played-
Mario Kart. Shut up for a second.
No, go for it. Go
The
for
point at which Mario Kart lost it for me was when they did Double Dash. Everybody loved Double Dash.
What?
I fucking
Yeah.
hated
What?
that. I
You
was
are
like,
so-
I don't
What?
want somebody behind
you
me.
are
No,
so-
that's when it hit its pinnacle.
Yeah,
It was
you
like,
are
we
so,
are
you are
perfect.
so-
And then they went,
You are so in the
Yeah, you're wrong.
the fucking minority on that
Double
one.
Dash
Double Dash
is
is
like
easily
the
the best.
best.
I have a
Why?
very justifiable
It's
reason why it
perfect.
was better, and I'll tell you why. So, first Mario Kart that ever came out, Super Nintendo, right? Super Mario Kart. 2D plane, it's got this weird half-screen thing going on, but they're learning how to make a kart game, and it was good. Good game, right? Whatever. Now,
Mario
right?
Kart
Whatever.
64.
Okay, Mario Kart 64 comes into play. Now they're working with 3D environments, and they have an analog stick. First time they're doing all these things, and they managed to make it work really, really nicely.
Regardless
then,
of the fact that the controller was ass.
exactly.
Best controller ever.
Then they transition
Not really.
to Double Dash, which, for all intents and purposes, is extraordinarily similar.
Was that really the third
to,
one?
Yes, which is well, there was like
there one in
Super
between?
Mario Kart on Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Holy cow.
There was
Big
yeah,
console.
Mario,
Yeah,
Mario
exactly.
Kart
So we moved
Advance.
to GameCube, and at this point, they're still like, if you think about the elements they're working with, it's still a 3D environment with a 3D thing, analog control. The only thing that switches is like you tap the Z button to switch drivers. It doesn't matter, but you're essentially still working in an analog environment. So they just refined what they did from the N64 version, and they just had better hardware to make
And
it on.
they were-
So
yeah.
so they brought the mentality over. Then they go to fucking Mario Kart Wii, and they're like, oh, let's make a game with fucking motion controls, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
And now I can very comfortably say that Mario Kart 8, well, the 7 and all the DS ones haven't, but fuck that shit. But now that they moved to 8, 8 is like the better version of Double Dash. It is like every...
Are there two people? There's only one person.
There's only one
I'm
person on the
saying.
cart, but I
The
mean,
two
as
people
far as
thing, yeah.
control and
Yeah.
elements, like it still has the drifting, it still has like the sparks, and like it's so
The drifting,
good.
Is it-
drifting is weirdly different.
Is it wrong to not like it because I didn't like the look of two guys, not just guys, two guys or girls?
Oh, just because like aesthetically,
Well,
bothers
people
you.
are, like if I'm playing a racing game, regardless if it's Mario Kart, like I'm by myself in that car, minus or
Honestly, that did kind of bother me at the time.
I-
Nothing against the functionality.
Yeah.
I just
like-
couldn't get past that.
I like
For some
that.
reason,
Great.
I just like I didn't want to choose two characters. Just I just
I
want
don't know.
to.
I
Green-
did-
Ruby Yoshi, you know?
One champion.
Paratrooper hangs on the
Yeah.
back. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Only
I-
Maverick. There's no Goose.
I tend to not care about what the aesthetic of the thing is, because like most of the racing games I really like
I'm old
F-Zero
on aesthetics now.
and like
But-
Wipeout, like here's a name drop, like Extreme G on the N64.
Yeah,
like
high five.
awesome. Like all of those games,
Mad
don't-
Dash Racing.
they don't even have drivers, or you never see
Sorry.
the drivers ever.
Extreme G.
Crash Team Kart Racing or whatever it was called.
Was it San Francisco?
San Francisco
San
Rush.
Francisco Rush?
Yeah.
Was that the? There's one like sci-fi game where wings shot out of the side of your car, and there was like a kind of a battle mode, and you could like.
Oh wait a
I
minute.
don't know what that was.
I don't
Oh,
know. But
I-
I rented it. And
I
loved
rented
it.
Extreme G and was all
Yeah,
about
Extreme G was the
Renting
bomb.
is this thing where
Back in the day of Blockbuster, when that was a thing.
GameFly used to be.
I
called
rented Extreme
Blockbuster.
G from Blockbuster.
from
Yeah, me
video
too.
video.
Whenever I think of
That's
Blockbuster, I still have an idea of Vortex Man, whatever it is. Vector Man.
Vector Man.
Vector Man was awesome.
That was my.
That was the only reason, because they had
It's
like
like
this
gamer tag
huge
for a while.
activation where they were like, if you finish this while you rent the game, we will let you have
Really?
Yeah. Blockbuster had this like.
That's
this,
a hard game.
Yeah, it was released and then it was put into Blockbuster, and it was like, if you beat the game and show us a save file or whatever.
Yeah,
you
no,
can
you're
win
totally
something.
right.
I forgot
Yeah,
What game is this?
It was like
Vector
win a
Man for
system.
Genesis. Yeah,
Because it was so goddamn hard.
There are
That
no
was a
save
wicked
points in that
hard
game
game.
either. Like,
yeah, it's like full levels, and the levels are like easily 5 to 10 minutes long each.
But I
And if
think
you're
they
at,
turn
if
off
you're
the
at the boss
console,
and you
though.
die, oh yeah, no, there's no
like
password
it's,
system.
right,
or
right.
anything,
Like
yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
That was a Genesis game, right?
Yeah.
Genesis
It was a good
was
game.
fun system.
I rented Sonic Adventure 2 for Dreamcast a lot from Blockbuster, and also I got an N64 late, but my dad would always rent the system. He rented an N64
I
system,
know they used
and
to
it
do
came
that.
in this black briefcase.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the day that he came home from work, and he had this black plastic briefcase, and I was like, "What is that?" And we opened it, I was like, "N64!" Like that was my Christmas moment. Like it was really funny.
That defined a
Christmas
lot.
moment was a rented console.
How many of us had a
We were married
had
for when
that?
I grew up. No, I'm just kidding.
How awesome was that Christmas when you were little? Like, so many of us had that experience where
Oh,
you
yeah.
opened N64.
Yeah.
Dude, it was
Like,
so funny. 'Cause,
Like, everyone just freaks out.
when I used to open gifts, it's like, I mean, you could probably relate because
Yeah.
you know you have a younger brother too, right? So it's like I was the younger brother, and when it was that Christmas, I knew that the N64 was under the tree. I knew it was there. I didn't know, like I wasn't the kind of kid that like snooped my presents, but because of my parents, I knew that shit was there. So when I went down to like the tree that morning, like. I was like, fuck all these presents, and I found the one box that was most shaped like what an N64 would be. And I'm like, Frank, we're opening this one. This is the one we gotta open. And my mom's like, no, take your time. Open. I'm like, no, fuck that shit. We're opening this one.
That was, for me, it was like this is what I want for Christmas. And my parents were like, okay, we might get you that. So it was like, I didn't know I was getting it, but I was
Same.
like
Yeah.
They always
pretty
say that.
sure that I was going to
Yeah.
get it. And
I got started with I had Wave Race and like Diddy Kong
Oh,
Race.
I had
no,
Mario Kart.
No,
I had Mario Kart. I had
those
Wave
were your
I
Race.
didn't
first
start
I
games
think
on
Wave Race was the
N64?
first game.
Wave Race, I think, was
Wave
my
Race
first.
was
No,
the game.
man,
Oh no,
I-
Super fucking Mario 64. Was
I
like
never,
the first game.
I
never-
never owned that.
Me
actually.
neither.
What?
My first.
I mean, I
Are you
beat it.
serious?
I beat it. I think I probably borrowed
Yeah,
it from
I
you or
never
something.
owned it
but
actually either.
I never owned it.
That game was played.
The first time I
played
owned it was-
hours.
I was a
Toys
gold.
R Us.
I was more into GoldenEye.
Yeah, I was super into GoldenEye too. Like that's what made us like really like beg my parents. But
Yeah.
the first game that I had we had one game when we got our N64, and the only game we had was Shadows of the Empire,
Oh,
and that
yes.
was awesome.
I don't even know what that is.
I had that
Star
on
Wars-
DOS.
Star Wars Shadows of the Empire?
Shadows of the Empire.
Oh,
It's like
dude.
I had
Star Wars
Rogue
game.
Squadron.
Okay.
I had
Yeah.
wait
Rogue
Shadows of the
Squadron.
Empire.
Shadows
Was
of
that
the
when you were
Empire-
like a bounty hunter and you?
Yes.
Shadows of the Empire was
I
the
had
first
that-
level was
I-
Hoth, and you have to wrap the
Yes.
AT-ATs.
Oh,
and then,
wait, that's Rogue Squadron or that's Shadows?
That's Shadows of the Empire. And then the
Okay.
second level was like it was
There was
called like
some, like,
Gaia
random
Canyon,
guy.
and you were like a third-person guy with a
Yeah.
little blaster, and you're
I
shooting
remember
guys.
taking
Okay,
that.
I remember that,
Or,
yeah.
what was it? The AT walkers. The
AT-ATs, yeah.
not the
AT-ATs.
not the
AT-ATs.
Yeah, I called them
ATSTs.
AT-ATs.
The
Yeah.
two-legged ones.
The two-legged
Chicken
ones. I
yeah.
remember playing that and just being like running in between the legs and like doing the job. You had like a jetpack.
Yep.
We're talking about the right thing. Right?
Yeah, and then like in the second level, you were in the Hoth thing, and you could like open the gate that had the
Yeah.
Wampas in it, and they'd be like, "Arr," and they're just like have these really shitty
Wow.
animations.
I'm surprised that the first game wasn't super. Like when I went to Toys R Us, the Super Mario Brothers 64 was the only game that was ever like being showed.
Oh
This is
yeah.
not
I
the
wasn't
game
free-
that I had on DOS. The fuck was the game that I had on DOS?
What are you doing?
Yeah,
I was looking up Shadows of the Empire because I was like, oh, I had that on DOS.
No,
it's
you
not
didn't. That
the
was
game
an
that I had
N64
on DOS.
exclusive.
What was the game that I had on DOS then?
Star Wars
Forces?
Yeah, Dark Forces.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good game.
Thank you. Shadows of the Empire was fun too. I do remember
See,
this
it's
game.
not, like, when do you think your Christmas magic kind of like sputtered out with like video game consoles? Because like I think the last
When I could buy them myself.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the last console that I got for
Yeah.
Christmas that was still like cool was when like the GameCube came out. I mean, we were still like a little bit older at that point, but I can't even remember. That was, that was like 2001.
I think I got a 360.
Yeah. When I got
Yeah,
my GameCube,
360.
well, those came out about the same time, yeah. But it was funny because like the magic was like sort of over because it was like, you know,
Well, the 64 was the legit like breaking that threshold of like
Oh, yeah.
video
We were all,
gaming
like-
turning from just like a regular like side thing, hobby / thing that people like knew about to like this is like a
Mainstream.
legit thing
Plus,
now.
we were all like 9 to 12 years old at that point, so you're like the perfect age. Like
Totally.
1996, 1997. Like
that's when all those games mean so much more. Like that's why Ocarina of Time is so awesome for all of us.
That's,
Oh my
That's
God.
why
I cry when those.
That's why
movies.
legitimately. That's why legitimately Star Fox 64 is like my favorite video game of
Yeah.
all time.
Dude, that game is
Star
so
Fox, Mario, Zelda,
Man, that was the time, like, earlier than the internet. Like, I remember going to a friend's house, and he was, like, in the middle of a Star Fox section, and he was in that, like, Inferno level, where there was all lava on the ground. And I had owned Star Fox and played it a bunch of times, and I never understood how he got to that level. And it was because there was no guides or anything, and I was like, how did you get here? Oh my god!
I used to go to IGN64.com.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Where they changed their URL.
Yeah.
The Commander Keen of N64 for me was Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
Jet Force
Dude, that game
Gemini.
was so good.
I got a
Like,
VHS
I think I
about
only
that
played
game
that
in the
because I saw
mail.
you.
Man, I'm like getting all these memories of like funny things that like when Jet Force Gemini came out, it was like around
ants
some
heads are
holiday.
just like-
Yeah, it was like around some holiday, and I remember like my cousins were coming over or something, and I was like, I don't want him to play my N64, so I like brought it into like my parents' room and hooked it up and had Jet Force Gemini like in it, and I would like be having dinner and then like escape and be like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I'd go into my mom's room and just play Jet Force Gemini.
Was it co-op?
Couldn't
you play as, like, the dog?
The Floyd, the little
Yeah,
helicopter guy.
You can play as.
I always
the
had my
dog.
brother be that guy.
You can play as the
Yeah.
the stupid helicopter like robot thing.
You know what pissed me
The
off?
girl, the guy.
Whenever I played co-op like that, whoever was Floyd would always shoot the bears before I could pick them up. And I was like, I hate you! Like,
Did any of you guys get the VHSs in the mail about new Nintendo games coming out?
actually,
What?
yes, I got
So-
one.
That's
I got Jet Force Gemini, I
Yeah.
got Banjo-Kazooie, and I got Pokemon.
If you were
Before Pokemon was a thing.
subscribed to
They
Nintendo
would
Power,
give you
they would
VHSs?
they would send you VHS tapes. I got one for I think it was right after that, like Majora's Mask. I got one for.
I got one for
And-
that, too.
And it would
Yeah.
show you like how like what the first boss is, and they're like, there are 40 bugs flying around here at the same time. Like you can only do this with the N64 expansion pack because it was like
That's-
the technology was crazy.
The Banjo-Kazooie one is awesome.
Good news, everyone. Did everyone hear about that? Banjo-Kazooie is coming out again. They're
Yes, they
remaking
want to
it.
remake.
way, for
they
real.
want to
I saw-
Why
I
do you
saw
guys
the-
like Banjo-Kazooie?
because it's so.
It's,
Look,
it's
I'm not
the
even a
better
big
version
fan,
of
but
Mario
it's-
64.
It's Mario 64, but by Rare.
It's
and-
Mario 64.
It's
with
more
cooler
that
stuff
Rare's
to do.
coming back for me. Like
Yeah,
that
they,
it's
they
now
wanna,
like
they
okay,
do want
Rare's
to
being
do
bought.
yeah.
I
They
mean,
want to.
I
make
thought that was
more
a fan
of
thing.
Rare.
You're talking about those images of like inside his house that are like crazy HD, right?
No, they want to. They just announced that Rare is going to start making classic Rare game series again.
yeah, what he said.
Oh my god, if there was like
And not nuts and bolts bullshit.
if there was like an Xbox One remake of Jet Force Gemini, I would literally cry. Like, oh my god.
They're going to make Jet Force Gemini, but it's going to be dark and gritty and awful.
Oh,
That's
man.
going to be the problem.
I don't know.
They're
Dark
just
and
gonna
Gritty is kinda
chainsaw
like where I'm
guns.
at
Your
right
only
now.
option is chainsaw
Most
guns.
games.
Because everything is dark and gritty now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they do is they make remakes of things we loved as children, but dark and gritty, and then they're terrible.
Because we're growing with the brand.
No, it's not.
growing the brand
No, see,
with
this
us.
is
This is
the
really
shit where they're like
extra credits about that actually.
They're like, oh,
I'm
it's
sure.
like
Oh, yeah, no,
Dark
they're-
Knight Strikes Back in 1987, where we all grew up, and then Batman was gritty and cool, and we all liked it. It's not the same. You can't just be like, all right, here's Pokemon with assault rifles, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
this isn't.
Well,
Like,
that was
Business idea.
I think the like case study for that was Shadow the Hedgehog. And they were like, hey, Sonic the Hedgehog's all this stuff. Now it's Shadow the Hedgehog, and he's got assault rifles and rocket launchers, and he rides a motorcycle.
Knuckles wasn't
Like,
good enough, an evil enough rival, or
yeah.
and then, have you seen Sonic Boom, where Knuckles legitimately has like learning disabilities in that movie?
no,
he's-
I just saw
they
that.
made
Like,
his
Come up
IQ
with
go
the scarf
down.
for the
Yeah, no,
yeah,
he has
I thought that was so funny because they're like, how do we reinvent Sonic? Just wrap everyone in bandages and we're there.
Apparently hard
It's
to
that, but then they also changed it from like the characters actually having some characteristics that are like original to
Yeah.
we're just gonna style them after stereotypes of
Right.
all these other
Yeah.
characters.
So
You gotta
Knuckles
play
is
Hyrule
like
Warriors.
Such a
Knuckles
shame,
is
man.
like brain dead stoner,
Yeah.
Oh man,
and it's like
Hyrule Warriors.
what?
I forgot we haven't played that.
Oh yeah, well that's a great game too. But
that's a Wii U game that I haven't gotten yet that I
we've
really
been
want
trying to play.
We
that.
played it a while. It was like a couple months ago. We played it. For
It's
a little
literally
while.
like if
And then
you love
Smash came
Dynasty
out.
Wars, which
Yeah.
Alex and I kind of own every single one.
I love Dynasty
Well,
Warriors.
it's
and if you
Yeah.
like Zelda,
it's one of those
it's
like
like
mindless like.
Even like Dynasty Warriors Gundam, I was like
See,
all about.
here's
We
the thing,
tried
right?
that,
We
I was
came
like,
in. We came into
That's
Dynasty
real.
Warriors. We came into Dynasty. We came into Hyrule Warriors thinking, oh, it's just gonna be like whatever, right? And that's exactly what it is. But the best part is like the storyline, which we never paid attention to in Dynasty Warriors, is actually It's actually good in Hyrule Warriors.
But they did change everything in Hyrule. Like, there's a lot of details that like that's taken straight from a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Like the music's good. Like
Yeah.
just the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
The Gundam thing feels like they literally took Guan Yu and then like put him in a Gundam suit.
Well, what's
Yeah.
weird is like the first Gundam, Dynasty Warriors Gundam had like an original storyline with like cutscenes, and it was like all the shows and stuff, and it was really cool. And then the second and third one they just took all that out, and it was just
Yeah,
like
that's
the
the one I played,
gameplay.
yeah.
You probably played like the third one,
Yeah.
where it
You
looks
didn't
really
feel
nice.
big though. You just
No,
felt
you
like
just felt like a
No,
yeah.
they were not. I only played
Custom
that because
Robo?
oh
The
my
buildings were just
God.
Custom Robo was like the best game with the worst storyline ever. Like
Yes.
it was like the.
Why
it
was that a good game?
It was
Because that was not
I
a
don't
good
think it
game.
was.
No, no,
It
I'll tell you
was
what,
not a
so
good game.
The storyline was brutally painful to get through. Like
Well, it's-
brutally painful.
it's like all-
but the actual battles were
It's a
so
JRPG.
awesome.
They never have good storylines.
No, but that was like
me
bad
just-
voice acting. Everything moved like half the speed of smell. Like it was
Yeah.
so fucking bad. Like, but
It's
that,
like-
but,
it reminds
the
me of, like,
actual,
Pokemon
but actual
Coliseum, where it's
battles
just
were
like,
so
oh my God.
good.
Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
I never played Pokemon Coliseum.
Pokemon Stadium was awesome. Pokemon Coliseum is the
Dude,
one
I
that
went
has
to
a JRPG
I went to a
story.
competition
Oh.
for Pokemon Stadium when that came out, and I was in the finals, and we got to use our own Pokemon.
Oh, so you had the Game Boy Transfer Pack, and you
And
guys like
then
my
the
level
problem
99.
was
Dude.
that at the point I was a heavy Game Shark user.
Oh.
So when the other Pokemon person was one of the other trainer, when we were fighting, like there was like a crowd of people watching,
Yeah.
and then there was like, "You two can't use Solar Beam." I was like, "Yeah, you can." What are you talking
Wait,
about?
this is mid-competition this happens?
Yeah,
That's
and then,
awesome.
and then
Using PEDs and like.
I had you two have Solar Beam, Hydro Pump, and Fire Blast.
Oh my
And
god.
then like, you are a hacker!
No,
What
and then
are
he was like, "You
doing?"
can't do that." I was like, "What?" and then
What?
yeah,
Did
I
you
didn't get
disqualify?
disqualified because
you
they wanted
win?
to show, so I got to pick the stadium defaults. They're just terrible. But anyway, yeah.
I
I think I look back at my like first team ever. I'm like, I think I had Red. I played Red.
Yeah.
And I look back at the Pokemon I used and got to like level 99.
I have this weird
They're
thing.
like the dumbest Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like I had
I had a
Butterfree and Doug
Oh, no,
I had a
I
weird
don't-
thing where I had like emotional connection to
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Oh,
Okay.
see, I was such a sellout. Like, I was... When I play Pokemon, I'm very shallow, in the sense that I will only pick cool-looking Pokemon or the ones that I know
Well,
that are good.
I do that now.
So, yeah. So,
But
like, when
I
I...
still don't do that
So, when I
now.
was a kid, like, my final party was, like, Mewtwo, Zapdos, Articuno,
Actually, that's true, I did
Moltres,
that.
whoever my level 3 starter Pokemon was, and then, like, a Kadabra. Or, like, an Alakazam. And, like, that was
you know, it was actually fun when the most
Is that
recent
many?
one came
It was
out.
6, right?
so you had
Or-
the same team as like when you fight
Everybody.
Red at the end of Gold and
Yeah,
Silver.
right.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Like when X and Y just came out.
I
Like
haven't played those yet.
all my roommates and Justin too. We just kind of had this agreement, like we're all gonna get this, but we're not gonna use legendary Pokemon, and we're just gonna go through the game with the ones that we have, and then we're gonna fight intermittently.
Yeah.
And intermittently, and it was a lot of fun. Like just
Was
kind
it
of
cool?
Is
yeah.
it weird
Now,
that
now, how like hardcore into Pokemon are? Because I have the like
None of
We
us
did a
are
whole
none of us are
fucking
really
email
that
bullshit,
hardcore,
but-
okay. Because I knew those kids who were like.
The reason why
Whatever
I wanted
and we
to
couldn't
do
look
that,
up anything either.
The reason why,
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
right.
That's
the reason
cool.
why I wanted to do that was solely because I have this weird thing about the whole immersion factor, and it's like if you own legendaries and stuff, and everybody's team ends up being the exact same
Yeah.
thing, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Like what's fun is like picking and choosing specific Pokemon
It's like in-
as you encounter.
It's like in
them.
Dark
Yeah.
Souls when there's like, and I guess Dark Souls you find that really good sword at the beginning of the game when you shoot off the tail of the dragon.
The
Drake
sword.
And it's like that's like a really good sword. And you have it for a while, and then I got the Iron Black Knight sword.
Yeah.
and I just ended up using that the whole game
remember
because it was
that.
the best.
It was
At
fun.
least I
What-
interpret it as the best.
When I was streaming Dark Souls, like, I did the Drake Sword thing right at the start because I think you guys actually showed
Yeah.
me to do that. But it was funny because when I started streaming it, I started the game like all the way from the beginning again. And like a bunch of people would come into the stream and chat to me, and they would say like they're like awesome. In before Drake Sword sucks, and I was like, no man, what are you talking about? This sword is fantastic. And then like you actually get to a point where that sword is garbage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but why would you want to spend
yeah.
your souls, your money,
Well, you need the
currency to
Uji.
like upgrade stupid
You need the
weapons?
Uji
Yeah.
Katana.
What's
That
that?
thing is the Uji Katana. Is
The
really
thing with like 3
Yeah,
U's
that's
and like
fun.
a bajillion G's.
I like the
and that.
R2 attack.
Isn't that the one that you have to like kill the merchant to get?
I don't remember how you get it. I remember you just up your like dexterity as high as it can go, and that thing.
I
goes
found out
the
I'm
watch
not
and pole. Was it?
I'm not sure if I told you this, but apparently in Dark Souls 2, like
Yeah.
the whole dual wielding thing,
Oh, you did tell me that. Like, there's different.
there's a
tactics.
I thought it was a glitch, but there's a legit like different, completely different moveset with dual weapons, and it could be different types of dual weapons, but they all change dual like.
I have to show you guys. Do you guys play PvP in Dark Souls 2?
Yes.
I have to show you guys this
Okay,
video. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's this guy who like.
I get so frustrated in fucking Dark Souls.
No, do you know?
PvP.
Have you ever heard of like and one?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Like
God, I
like
hate it.
and one basketball. How
oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
people play and they'll like do like flips and shit, like whatever. There's like
Doing flips and shit.
this guy made a version of Dark Souls where he was like he was like, we wanted to see how hard we could style on our people that we were fighting against. So they were making fun of parries, and they're like, well, obviously everybody parries, but it looks so fucking lame if you just parry someone and then stab them, they instantly die. So like, we wanted to make this as cool and embarrassing as possible. So they would like parry a guy and then like spin around like 500 times to see how many spins they could get in before they stab them, or they would parry them like near the edge of something and like take all of their armor off so they're naked and then stab them.
God.
Or like there was one of them was awesome. It was like the guy was using like a rapier or whatever, and he parries him and the guy falls on the ground, but then he like switches out all of his weapons and he like changes it to like all strength build, and he gets like a hammer and he just knocks him like a golf club, and he like flies up the side and falls into the lava.
That's
It's like,
amazing.
It's so cool. I gotta
I'm
show you
not
guys
good
this
enough
video.
to do that.
No, it's really funny. Like, oh, it's good.
Parrying PvP, I'd like way too afraid to do that because I feel
Really?
like you just get.
I should get stabbed in the back in that. Like
So
they just circle around me,
Yeah.
and then like sometimes I'm looking at them and they're still circling around me, and I guess with the like delay between, and then my back is just stabbed, and then I break my controller.
I had a way around that
and eat
solely
it.
with the giant two-handed swords, like either the big two-handed
The
sword or like the
claymores and
mega heavy two-handed sword. But either the claymore too has giant wide sweeping motions, so that's how I got around that situation. But
I
now
always
I'm trying
do
to
that,
make-
and then they're just always
I know.
behind me. Anyway.
And now I'm trying to do like rapier dex builds,
Yeah.
and it's like a lot more fun because there's more like precision and like timing involved. But now I'm victim to like backstabs up the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because all of your attacks are so like focused.
Yeah,
like
straight ahead.
you have to be much more like deliberate with what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I do like Dark Souls 2 a lot.
So we should do some Mario Kart.
Yeah, now we're gonna play some Mario Kart. So,
So screw you guys.
words. This podcast has been brought to you by Truvia Sugar. Truvia, it won't give you cancer.
Powdered coffee.
Truvia,
That was true.
Nature's calorie-free sweetener.
Yes.
Nutrition facts.
All right, we're gonna play
How's
some.
it nature's?
Nature's calorie-free.
Because nature stopped by and they're like, "Hey, I got the sugar for you. Here you go."
This has got
It's like, oh, thanks,
stevia.
nature.
How's
Stevia is
that
that
not-
thing that they say gives you
It's gotta
cancer,
be
though.
chemicals, right?
Yeah, it's
Dude, their tagline
it's
is "won't give you cancer."
it's erythritol, stevia leaf extract, and
When you
natural.
start
Our
naming
next-
ingredients
our
that sound
next-
like Pokemon, I immediately back away.
Our next podcast is going to be the Mike reads the ingredients on the next podcast.
What a great sign-off here.
Erythritol.
And
All
with
right,
that,
yeah, we're off. Thanks guys for coming.
Thanks. See ya.